I am about to embark on my very first Holland America cruise. And I know that there are rumors and speculations about Holland America all floating around out there. And I hope to discover whether they are truths or misconceptions or somewhere in between. And I hope to find out the answers and report back to you after my 2-week voyage and let you know what I find out. Most of the mainstream cruise lines, like Carnival and Princess, Royal Caribbean, Celebrity, Norwegian, MSC, and I have sailed on all of those, have different experiences based on the class of cruise line that you go on, or rather the class within that cruise line. For instance, they may have small ships and mid-sized ships and mega ships, and your experience will differ based on the size of the cruise ship and the age of the cruise ship. So I already know that some of my experiences will be skewed because I'm going on Holland America's Pinnacle class ship, which is their largest and newest category of cruise ships. And even the name Pinnacle kind of gives you an idea of an elevated experience. Here's what I hope to find out. Number 1. I had a friend say to me, "Oh, you're going on a geriatric cruise line. You're going to be the youngest one there." Well, I think that's probably a misconception. For one thing, is it really a geriatric cruise line? Most of the young people in my acquaintance probably already think I am in that geriatric category. I am mostly gray, but youngest person there? I guess we'll see. Number 2. My friends know how much I love the symphony, and I've always heard that Holland America has Lincoln Center. But I also heard recently that they have dissolved their partnership with Lincoln Center and no longer offer that venue. So I plan to explore the ship, see if there is a Lincoln Center venue, what it's being used for now, and if I can still find classical music on board. Number 3. I have heard that Holland America's complimentary food is wonderful. From the dining room to the buffet to cafes and pizza, everyone says that they have enjoyed the food experience. So I plan to try all of the complimentary venues, and I will let you know if that is indeed a fact. Number 4, I've heard that Holland America's service is top-notch, that they greet you with a smile, and that they know you by name. Now, some of the cruise lines have one-time housekeeping where they take care of your room once a day. Some have a morning housekeeping service and then they come back and do an evening turn down. I'm anxious to see what Holland's policy is about servicing your room, and I'm wondering how much they do know me by name and how happy they seem to be there. And number 5, the activities and entertainment. A friend of mine said, "Oh, at Holland America, they roll up the sidewalks at 9 p.m. Now, I'm quite sure that is not quite accurate because I don't think there's any sidewalks on Holland America, but I get his point. He's actually saying you're going to be bored, that there's nothing to do in the evening, and in fact, some people say there's really nothing to do all day. So I'm going to test that out, find out just what there is to do, what the activities are during the daytime, what the shows are like in the evening, experience the music walk, and all the things they have to offer like that. So I am looking forward to analyzing the things to do on board and to see if I get bored. I just completed 2 weeks on the Holland America Nieuw Statendam, and I believe I have some insights to those questions that I asked earlier. Now, I'm aboard a different ship now. I got off the Nieuw Statendam, walked directly behind it in the port of Fort Lauderdale, and boarded another ship. If you can tell what ship that is just by looking at the decor of the balcony around me, leave a comment below. I will have a series of videos about that experience coming up after a while, once I get all of these Holland America ones posted. But the first thing I talked about was, would I be the oldest person on board the ship? Well, absolutely not. There were lots of multi-generational groups on board, and I saw several children. I went up to the kids club and I asked how many kids were on board this cruise, And they told me in the 3 to 5 category, there were 35. And in the teenager category, there were 94. Now, the next week, she said, would be double that because it would be spring break. And typically, probably the first week of our cruise was also part of a spring break for many schools. So maybe it was skewed a little bit because of the time of year we were on board. But I did see several children, not as many as a cruise line like Royal Caribbean that has all the rock climbing walls and the flow riders and the slides and the ice skating and so many other activities that are geared toward children, because Holland America is definitely not geared toward children. Yet they do have kids clubs and some kids activities on schedule. Now, in answer to, is it a geriatric cruise? No. But I will show you the scooter parking lot from the day that we disembarked. And we did see a lot of scooters. However, I think Holland America knows that they will have some older people with mobility issues, and they do a much better job about accommodating those issues. The hallways in the common areas seemed to be much larger. So when there were scooters there, it wasn't like you were having to dodge them when you got on board. I've been on multiple cruise lines and I've always found people on scooters. I don't think that there were really any more on this sailing than there were on a comparable size ship, say with Princess or Celebrity or Carnival even. All right, number 2, I asked about Lincoln Center. And alas, there was no Lincoln Center, just as I had expected. They used to have it on the Pinnacle class ship in the same area as the B.B. King's Blues Lounge, and they would just alternate the venue depending on who was performing. But they've completely done away with Lincoln Center. In fact, I never saw a violin or any type of stringed instrument, unless you count a piano as a stringed instrument, on board. Number 3, the complimentary food. I had heard that it was really good, and I have to concur, it was really good. Now, we were privileged to be able to book the Club Orange area. On the Pinnacle ships, they have Club Orange as a private dining area. It serves the same menu as the main dining rooms, but it always has a Club Orange special offering in addition to the main dining room. So the food, they say, is the same in one venue or the other for most of the menu. And we found that food to be really, really good, from the main dining room to the dive-in grill with the burgers and hot dogs to the pizza. All over the ship where there was complimentary dining, we really enjoyed those meals. I did not do any specialty dining on this cruise, but I will have a full separate video about the menu and the food that we did eat, and let you see some of those dishes. Number 4, I had heard that there was top-notch service on board, and we found that to be true. Our cabin steward was very attentive. We asked for ice 2 times a day, and we got ice twice a day. They do make the cabin up in the morning, but they give you an option if you want turn-down service in the evening. And we do like turn-down service. If we choose to shower in the middle of the day, then we know they're going to come and take care of our bathroom and give us clean towels. Only one time in the whole 2 weeks did I go back to my cabin when the cabin steward was in there. They were so good about being unobtrusive. We also participated in their unlimited laundry service, and I will make a separate video about that as well. That was very, very good service. Number 5, activities and entertainment. The activities were good. They did have a beautiful setup for an art room, where they offered watercolor classes. You could do a landscape for one session, or you could do a jellyfish for another session. They did calligraphy and letter writing, but they did the very same activities week 1 and week 2. And I kind of thought that if you're going to have a 2-week cruise that you can book, even though it is offered as 2 separate 1 weeks, that they should be able to have multiple type activities throughout the week. One thing I really enjoyed was the extensive collection of games and jigsaw puzzles and the wide area dedicated to that. You saw families and friends playing cards and checkers and Chinese checkers and taboo and all kinds of games. They had a game show or activity offered in the B.B. King's Blues Lounge, and when they were between sets. Those game shows were quite fun, and their cruise director was so funny, Jose. He taught line dancing, he called bingo, he did the trivias. You found Jose all over the ship. While many cruise lines have a giant activity staff with pool games and various whatnot, Jose was it, but he sure was good at it. We did have Billboard Onboard, which was a couple of pianists, very talented musicians that played hits. They had 3 sets almost every night. They usually had one night off during the week, and they would alternate with another venue that was the rock band, the Rolling Stones Rock Room. So they weren't competing with each other for noise. As soon as one set was over, the other set would begin. They had it down to a science. So there was plenty of live music. And also there was the B.B. King's Lounge, which I mentioned with the Lincoln Center. And the B.B. King's Lounge had 3 sets almost every night as well. They were a little separated from the other 2 venues so that the music did not overtake and overpower the other venues. So there was plenty to do as far as live music. And then you had the theater every night, the main stage, where they had production shows, a couple of production shows during the week, and then some guest entertainers. On this cruise, I never felt the urge to rush anywhere. It was prudent to get to the theater early. 45 minutes early gives you whatever seat you want. 30 minutes early still gives you a great seat. 20 minutes early, you will climb over a few people maybe to get to your seat. Starting at 15 minutes early, you're starting to really look around for your seat. And those people that come in 5 minutes late, 10 minutes late and climb over everybody, shame on you. I would say that cruise was probably the most relaxing cruise I've ever been on. If you want to be entertained 24/7, you would have to look for it. Some of the entertainment are really just glorified sales pitches. But if you are good at entertaining yourself, you love to read, you like to play games, you like to just sit back and relax and watch the waves, this is the cruise for you. And I truly enjoyed this Pinnacle class ship for the beauty of it on board. Be on the lookout for future videos about the Nieuw Statendam because I have several things to tell you about. This is Shirley with Shirley's Journeys, and I hope all of your journeys are pleasant ones.